Coincidence. There is another surah, Surah 42. It begins, Ha Mim Ain Sin Qaf, Ha Mim Ain Sin Qaf. What it means is, count the Ha's and the Meems and the Ains and the Sins and the Qafs, pull them together, divide by 19, exact multiple of 19. But you haven't done one yet. And you're going to ride 5 horses in a circus. You know, you're going to fall, get hurt when you can't ride one. I said, look, the last letter, Qaf. You know what a Qaf looks like? Of course you know by now. It's a head with 2 dots. Whether it's a solid head or a hollow head. A head with 2 dots. Count. It won't take you 5 minutes. You know how many? Again 57. Again 57. Look, you can verify it tonight before you go to sleep. It will take you altogether 10 minutes. This is 57, that is 57. 57 divided by 19, again 19 times 3, on the dot. How did it happen? The goat bleats, coincidence. Add them together. 57, 57, how many? 114. Divided by 19, 19 times 6, on the dot. How did it happen? Coincidence. This is 114 surahs. The author is telling you that each and every surah says Qaf wal Quran al Majid. It says Qaf by the glorious Quran, as if telling you A is for apple, it's Qaf, Qaf is for Quran. Each and every chapter is the Quran, divided one each. Each and every chapter is the Quran, the whole Quran and nothing but the Quran. But look, anybody doing this job, even Muhammad, even if he had those computers and calculators, he must have some difficulty, no? Should. So I said he had. Our author is showing us something. He wants to show us that whoever did the job, there was some problem in his mind. You see, when he did this job, who did it? When he did this job, he started with Surah 42. And he did it quite easily. Ha, Mim, Ain, Sin, Qaf, add 1 here, went to 3 there, all in his head, he did it. He did it. But first, what he had to do? He had to compose it. He had to compose it. Where? In his head. Because he's got no paper and no pencil and he can't read and write, so he must do it in his head. So he composed it like, say, Qaf wal Quran al Majid wal ajibu anjahum. And then the unwritten word, he had to memorize it. Because when he dictated it, he dictated as if he was a hafiz already, as if he had memorized it. And Allah says so. وَمَا كُنْتَ تَتْلُو مِنْ قَبْلِهِ مِنْ كِتَابٍ. He said, you were not in the habit of reading as if out of a book, like a hafiz al-Quran. وَلَا تَخُطُّهُ بِيَمِينِكَ. Nor were you able to transcribe it with your right hand. Is the lartab al-mubtilun. In that case, these talkers of vanity, these babblers in the marketplaces, they might have had some reason to doubt that you wrote the book. Allah says, they haven't got a thing on you. It's a dog's bark, the caravan moves on. You don't have to worry about the dog's barking. Carry on. You know, you couldn't read, you couldn't write, you got no paper, you got no pencil. How could you have done this job? Allah assures us that he never did this job. He was not in the habit of reading out of as if out of a book, like Hafiz. And how do you become a Hafiz? By repeating. And how do you repeat? You compose. And after composing, how can you repeat the unwritten word saying? Try. One sentence you concoct in your head and you try and memorize that sentence without seeing it, without writing it. Try. So, he did the first one, Surah 42. Easy. You know, our author is a genius. He did the job. But when he came to Surah Qaf, chapter 50, he found some difficulty. So he wrote it in his head, composed it, he memorized it, then he starts counting it in his head. He says, Qaf, والقرآن المجيد بل يجب أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب. He's counting in his head. He counted, and when he finished it, 58. So he divided by 19. Say 19 times 3, 57, remainder 1. What is he going to do? Either he adds another 18 to complete the unit, or take out 1. What would you do? What would you have done? What would you have done? Take out one. Yeah, we are human beings. What you want to start with another 18? By the time you do 18, you might be another 20 you get. So you're going to carry on. When you're going to get your exact figure? So easier to take out one. But which one? So he starts again in his head. He starts. Says Qaf. Oh, very easy. Rub it off. Problem is solved. But no, man, he wants you to know that in that surah you must count Qafs. That's the kingpin of the whole scheme. So it must remain. If you rub that Qaf out, you will know that where you're going to count the Qafs and where you're going to count Lam and what. No, you won't know. So it must remain. So Al-Quran al-Majid. Oh, very easy. If he rubs that out, in place of Quran, he can use 35 other titles of the Quran in the Quran. He could say Qaf, wal Kitab al-Majid, problem will be solved. Qaf, wal Burhan al-Majid, Qaf, wal Zikr al-Majid, Qaf, with Tanzil al-Majid, Qaf, wal Nur al-Majid. 35 different titles he could have substituted, anyone. And we wouldn't have known what had happened. He would have got his count right. But no, he wants you to know that Qaf stands for Quran and not K. Qaf, and he's going to divide them all, one each, to tell you that each and every chapter is the Quran. So it must remain. Qaf, wal Quran al-Majid, it must remain. If you change the wal Kitab al-Majid, he would have solved the problem, but you would know that Qaf is for Quran. And he carries on until he reaches verse 12. Verse 12, 13, 14. And around that, in his mind, he sees the biggest cluster of Qafs. Like a bunch of 5 Barlinka grapes. You know those black ones? They're in season now. So in his mind he sees those Qaf, 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 5. He says, man, shh, I must get rid of one of these, because otherwise there's no end to this. You are now a human being, you must get tired. So let's eliminate one. Which one? But now the problem arises, you ask me, say, look, Mr. Deedat, you mean to say the Quran is changed? I says, no. But you said there were 58 Qafs? I said, yes. Where? I said, in the mind of the author. So you know his mind? I says, no. He knows mine, he knows our minds, but we don't know his. We don't know his mind. We don't know what he's thinking, what he's planning, we don't know. Then how do you know that there were 58 there in the mind of the author? I said, he gives us a clue. If he shows it to you, you can see it, that he had 58 in his head. Astaghfirullah. He had 58 in his mind. So, which one he's going to eliminate, I'll show you just now. What he did. He said, verse 13 and 12. كَذَّبَتَ قَبْلَهُمْ قَوْمُ نُوحٍ. Watch my fingers. وَأَصْحَابَ الرَّثِّ وَثَمُودَ وَعَادٌ وَفِرْعَوْنُ وَإِخْوَانُ لُوطٍ وَأَصْحَابُ الْأَيْكَةِ وَقَوْمُ تُبَّةٍ كُلُّ كَذَّبَ الرُّسُلُ وَحَقَّ وَعِيدٍ. Only 4. I said there were 5 there. You know where the 5th one was? Here. وَإِخْوَانُ لُوطٍ. This should have been قَوْمُ لُوطٍ. You know why? Because 12 times, other places in the Quran, monotonously, Allah is saying قَوْمُ لُوطٍ for that abominable people who were destroyed for their unnatural lusts. In America they call them gays. Gays now. Gays. You know, for the sickness they call them gays. Very nice, happy-go-lucky people. Gays. 300,000 gathered in June in San Francisco on a pilgrimage last June, led by 50 lesbians on motorcycles. Qawm Lut. That Qawm Lut Allah describes in the Quran 12 places. Is a Qawm Lut, Qawm Lut, Qawm Lut, Qawm Lut, Qawm Lut. Monotonously, as if he doesn't know synonyms. And you know, synonyms means, you know, you use different words meaning the same thing. It lends fragrance to speech. It beautifies your talk. I said fragrance to speech. It beautifies your talk. This is a synonym. Fragrance, beautify. You see? So I'm saying the same thing, but I'm using different words. It lends beauty to speech. And our author, 12 times, Qawmalut, Qawmalut, Qawmalut. He didn't know.